got a tow call out here at the 85-mile marker on I-80. Truck pulling a U-Haul trailer flipped over, and basically Tyrone went out there. He was able to get the truck out. He got the trailer out, took it to Love's truck stop, and then called us in. We were actually out having dinner and frozen yogurt, and so we ran out to the yard, grabbed the truck, and now we're heading over to Love's truck stop outside of Green River, and we're gonna load this trailer up and bring it back. It's about 10 o'clock at night, I think, something like that.
It is, yeah.
So it'll be kind of a fun late night Saturday or Friday night, early Saturday morning tow. So we'll take you along.
It's a date.
I wanted that side on the rail
Yeah.
and this side on the deck. That way we don't have both tires on the rail, they can slide off.
I really thought you wanted this side too on the rail, but this is cool.
I decided that if I put this side on the rail and that side slides off, it's not a big deal. If
Why would that not be?
both of them on the rail, then it can slide either way. It cannot slide this way now.
Yeah, it's wonky as hell on this side too. It's actually pretty perfect, honestly, over here. What was that?
But all of my chains are on the truck wrong.
Oh. Is this the safety chain?
Huh?
The safety chain?
No.
Oh. This is the hook.
These are the main chains.
Main chain. Ooh. When we get it on here and secured, should we shake it a little bit? In the cuff or out?
Now we're gonna go forward.
Oh.
Swinging back and forth.
Yeah, because that will usually move.
Well, the back is cross-chained, and it keeps the back from sliding back and forth.
I love you. I love you.
All right, Auto Recyclers fam, we're back giving you a little update for this week in the shop. It's been another busy week of shipping cars out and crush cars, that sort of deal. Weather's been pretty good. It's now windy, it's been windy, but you know, it's just life in Wyoming, especially late winter, springtime, just kind of all the time it's windy. But I figured I'd give you a little update on what's going on in the shop here, and then we went out on that tow last night, got that U-Haul trailer, so you know, just kind of give you a little update. Basically, behind me, we got the 82 C10, or well, it's a GMC truck, but C10 for all practical purposes. The one we got back from Dominic getting painted, and it's pretty good. It still needs to go in for a cut and buff, so there's imperfections in the paint, but it's good for right now. We're trying to get it sorted out, get the electrical, make it run right. It doesn't run right. Doesn't run at all right now, but that's kind of what we're working on. I'll walk you through what we got going, and give you just a little update on or give you a little recap on what's going on for the week, and then we'll get ready to start into next week. So here's what we got. I haven't really shown you guys a lot about this truck here, but it is an 82 GMC pickup short bed 2-wheel drive. I ended up building this, or we ended up building this truck out of a few other trucks, and it's come out really good. Dominic did really well. We got it roll panned in the back. It's got a GMC tailgate on it. It's got the GMC grill in it. We have the interior parts out of it right now. The interior's kind of only halfway together, because I'm not sure what we're going to do with the interior yet. I'd like to make it nice, but interior parts are expensive. But we'll see on that. I'd much rather have it run and drive properly than you know, have it nice and not run and drive properly. So here's what we got. We have the engine harness out of it right now, and the main reason is the MAP sensor, manifold absolute pressure sensor, was not reading. I'll walk you through kind of what we had. The big hole in the firewall is where the harness goes through. The computer's usually mounted inside underneath the dash. But we've got all of it taken out right now. What we got is, this is the original harness, the one we had in it. Basically the problem we had was the harness had to be modified. Originally, when we went to go build the truck, I wanted it to be drive-by-wire. I wanted an electronic throttle in there, and I wanted to run the early style red-blue computer. And you know, that's kind of not a thing. Like, it is if you have a vehicle that you're using as a donor that already has electronic throttle, but to convert a cable throttle over to electronic throttle with a stock red-blue computer or early computer is kind of a trick. And so we put all the parts together, the electronic throttle, the TAC module, all the stuff to make the electronic throttle work. We downloaded the program into the computer, you know, did all the stuff, and it never ran very well. I think part of it was we had a vacuum leak on the intake manifold that I've since solved. So that caused part of the problem. The other part of the problem is, I don't know, in this harness, this is a good harness. It's a Carl Customs harness, and they build good stuff, but we've had to modify it when we went over to, we didn't have to modify it for electronic throttle. But the problem is we had a hodgepodge of parts put together for the electronic throttle. I didn't have like a complete setup out of a known running driving vehicle. And so it just got really complicated in a quick hurry. And basically, I gave up on that whole idea. So we decided to go to cable throttle. And then we had to pin in the connectors for the cable throttle. And that was a thing. I had a friend of mine working on it. He's since went to do some other work for other places. The truck never did run quite right. I think it might have some issues with fuel pump right now too, but it never did run perfectly. It always idled really high. It always just acted horrible. And so part of that was, I think, the vacuum leak or intake manifold vacuum leak. It's hard to say. But we got the truck in the shop now. It ran okay, but it was really lean, but I noticed we're not getting a map sensor. I swapped out the map sensor, and it's not the map sensor. So I have a feeling it's in the harness somewhere. I wasn't the one originally messing with the harness. So I could bring it out, figure it all out, do all that stuff, or I could just buy a non-modified drive-by cable harness from Carl Customs and put it in here, and that's what we're going to do, because it's just simpler, easier. Electrical gremlins are a thing, and I'm an electrician, and I can track it down, but you got to look at it and decide whether it's worth your time versus the money you're going to spend to track it down. It's like $300 for a harness, and basically, I have to look at it and go, am I going to spend more than, I don't know, say 3 hours of my time, messing with this? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably more cost effective to buy a harness. I mean, it depends on how much you value your time at. And everybody's like, well, you can't value your time building cars, but you have to. Like, your time has to have some sort of value, other than a true hobby where your time doesn't matter at all. But like, even though this truck is for me, my time still has to have a value, because I could be doing something else and making money, or spending it somewhere else. And $100 an hour is kind of a conservative estimate for my time, but it's a good round number to use. So it's just easier for me to buy a harness. We're gonna take this harness, I don't know what we're gonna do with it, probably either put it in the back or cut it up for pieces for other people's harnesses or whatever. But that's the plan, is buy a drive-by cable harness. It's already on order. We're gonna put it in here. I'll walk you through the programming changes we did on the computer as well, because I wasn't sure about that either. I don't know what had been messed with. I don't know if it was right, if it was wrong, if the guy we had working on it had missed something. There was a whole lot of question marks in this truck, and it was easier just to kind of basically start from scratch. New harness, make sure the program's good, known good program, and put it all back together, and then fight it from there. The odds are these LSs are really simple. The odds are basically, when you get everything right, it'll work. So we may have some fuel pressure problems. It was kind of acting that way. I don't know why, but it was acting like it was running short on fuel when I pulled it in here. I don't know. It's not too hard to change a fuel pump on this, because we've had the bed off and on about 100 times. So it's not the end of the world to pull the bed and change a fuel pump, because that's the easiest way to do these C10s, is just pop the bed off. Other than that, yeah, that's kind of where we're at on it. I'll walk you through the interior a little bit, and maybe you guys would have some suggestions. But we have the outside painted a champagne frost, and it's kind of one of them colors that's a little bit of a color, can't say color changing, but the frost makes it kind of interesting, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty neat color. It's kind of tanny looking. In the camera, it looks a little more silvery, and depending on the light, it looks silvery. So it kind of grows on you. It's a good color. I like it. And it doesn't look like every other C10 on the planet. We're going to have to go in, get the windows tinted. I think we're going to take the sliding back window out of it and put a solid one in it, just because I never was, I don't know if there's much a point having a sliding window in a two-wheel drive truck, but who knows. So what you'll notice is we ended up jamming this thing in black, and the dash is black, the back of the cab is black. Basically jammed it all in black. And a lot of people kind of hate it. I'm hot and cold on it. We jammed it in black because originally we were going to go with a Hot Rod Flats champagne. And I figured the black with the flats would be good, and I think it would look good. It doesn't look bad as it is, having it jammed in black. It doesn't look quite right, like your mind thinks it looks funny. With it jammed in black and then having a gloss paint job. I think with the satin paint job or the Hot Rod Flats paint job, it'd make your mind feel better about life. But I was a little worried if we jammed it in champagne, it would kind of rat hole me into certain colors in the interior that I didn't figure would look as good. Basically, if you have champagne, then you can do tan interior. If you do black interior with champagne, that's a little weird too. Like, I think it's a little bit busy with champagne all over and then black. It's kind of too contrasting. The champagne with gray is a little off too, because you got kind of a warm and a cool going together, which is a little weird. Champagne and tan just seems like, or saddle or whatever they call that, medium or light saddle, whatever. But that seems just like a whole sea of tan. I'm not a fan of tan. So I was kind of, I don't know. I know a lot of people aren't going to like the jams being black, and the interior being black. It doesn't bother me, and it's my truck, so whatever. But I think what we're going to end up doing is probably going in with black carpet, tan door panels, a tan or saddle or whatever the hell they call it, dash pad, and the seat cover probably tan. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think dash pad and door panels and door carpets are going to be like a light saddle or like tannish color, because I think it would pop against the black and not be overwhelming either with black or tan. I think that would probably end up being the best way. I'm trying to decide on carpet what I want to do. I don't really want tan carpet because, like, I can't keep nothing clean, and it's kind of miserable. Like, I can't have nothing nice. And so, I'm out here in the shop. I have dirty shoes. I do that stuff. I hop in this thing, and it has light carpet. It's going to be a bad day. The truck's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. We just wanted a good driver, something fun to drive around, something you wouldn't worry about hopping in and driving for a long time either. So that's kind of the point or the idea on the truck, and I welcome your guys' input. You guys have ideas on what we want to do with the black jams and that sort of stuff, and what color interior we want to put in it. I'm definitely open to it, and I don't really like weird colors like reds or blues or something, but I don't know, maybe. So that's kind of the thought process on that. We're waiting on the harness. I'll take you through the computer when we get that over there, or when we get over to the office over there, and we can go through the computer stuff, and I can show you kind of what I did on it. So it's the new project. The S10's still living right here because we haven't done anything with it. It's been busy all week. Elliot's 2AZ still behind me. I ain't done much to the body. He's got the motor apart. He's got it painted, at least first coat of paint, and it probably needs another coat or two to be perfect. But it's all cleaned up. We knocked the glaze out of the cylinders with a ball hone, that sort of stuff. Get it prettied up. He's washing up the crank and the rods and all that stuff. We're getting to get them checked out. I think we gotta buy some new piston rings for it. A few things like that. Got to get a harmonic balancer probably rebuilt for it because that's the thing. But whatever. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on the C10 project, where we're at on everything else in the shop. The Trailblazer still lives behind me because I haven't sent the motor off to get fixed. It's definitely on my list of things to do though. I want to get it done. I'd like to get it put back together. It's just more of been busy, haven't had time to do it. So think we'll catch back up to you here in a minute when we get over to the office and we can go through the computer. All right, fam, we're over here at the office, and I was going to show you what I got set up on this C10, or, you know, little Chevy two-wheel drive truck computer setup here. Excuse the mess, there's always a mess around here, but basically what we got is we got the HP Tuners MVP1 connector here. We got it hooked up to a little bench test setup that I built, and it's plugged into the blue, and it lets me communicate with the computer here. And I can go through and screen record this and let you know what I'm doing here. So let me see how that works. So we'll switch over to screen recording, and I will kind of walk you through the programs, the differences, kind of how I do it. Just a little bit of a tutorial or explanation. It ain't really great instructions, but it is what it is. So this is VCM Suite on HP Tuners, and basically we're hooked up to the computer. Best thing to do is you go to help, you resync interface, it reads the interface, does licenses, all that stuff, lets you know that everything's connected. You can go to your application keys, license information for what you need to know for licensing stuff. This one's already been licensed, so it's not a big deal. We want to read the vehicle, which is the computer that we have hooked up in here, and we can gather info. And this will tell us basically what the PCM is, the operating system. And the operating system is important for later. So you might need to make a note of it or take a screenshot or whatever. But the operating system is important, especially if you're going to do segment swapping. So we want to do read. And it takes, it's a little slow on some of these earlier computers for sure. They're ECMs. So give it a minute and it'll come up. Actually, probably 2 minutes and it will come up. Alright, so now that come up, it'll give us the option to save it as a certain title in our logs and tunes. Basically, these are all the versions of this computer I have. I have it as found. When we downloaded it, I don't have the original tune that come in this computer, the stock tune, because they got modified along the way. So I'm not going to save this one, but what we're going to end up opening is the as found that you can see here. The 82C10 is found 2725, and that's when I did it. You can see the way I name them. We do segment swap on the engine, and then we do segment swap engine diagnostic, and system. And then I did another save. I save many versions of this stuff because I can always go back to them if I need to along the way. The other thing worth noting is these are tunes out of the repository that I've looked at to segment swap pieces from, and segment swapping is kind of a mysterious thing until you do it, and it's not that hard once you get used to it. But the important part is you need operating systems that are compatible with it. We looked at it, and the operating system in this computer we're using in the truck is the 9381344 operating system. So both of these stock tunes right here are the same, and they will both, we can segment swap into this ECM itself. I pulled both of these even though I didn't need both of them, but I wanted to compare them just to, you never know in the repository whether or not it's really accurate. It's kind of like buyer beware. The guys are really good in the repository, so I've never had a problem, but it's always good to compare. So I pulled two different tunes from two different people, stock tunes, and compared them, and they are identical, so either one is just fine. So we're not going to save this. We're going to close this. We're going to open up the stock file on what we got. And so the as found on 2.7. And so we pull it up here. The other thing we're looking at is, so we can see everything here, but we don't know what's been messed with. We know it's a 5.3, we know that it's 8 cylinders, we know the cylinder volume. We know all this stuff right here, but it's hard to tell, unless you like memorize the stuff, on what's been messed with in this tune at all. As we go through. Engine diagnostics, same way. Transmission, same way. System. We can look at it, and I know VATs, will be none if you're not running the vehicle anti-theft system. Stock is serial. So I do know that's been changed. But if we want to see what's been changed compared to a stock tune, the best thing to do is we open up a compare file. So we go up here to compare, and we go open compare file. And so we know these 9381344s are the same operating system. It's a 2000 Silverado with a 5.3 4L60E. We know that's a stock file because it's going to be the same as the other one. So we open them up, and we can see right off the bat the green ones are the ones that are not the same in the compare file. So we go through here, and we can look around and see what else has been changed. We're in Spark. Looks like Spark's good. General's good. Idle looks like it's probably okay. Airflow, they seem to be the same. VE, all of our tables here for airflow, they all look the same. VE correction factor is the same. Electronic throttle is different. And so we can pull these open and we can look at them side by side. But basically what we want to do is we want to be able to segment swap it. So what we can do, since we are running both operating systems, is we can go compare, and the segment swapper is highlightable. If it's not compatible operating systems, then it will not highlight. You won't have the option to click on it. But we can click on it, and we can go engine. We want to do our opened compare file to our factory compare file, or like our factory file, the first one we opened. So we're copying from the second one to the first one, and it's the second one to the first one. And we can swap whole segments, like the whole engine segment. We can copy and paste it into there. The whole transmission segment, like if you're going from a 4L80, you'll open up a compare file with a compatible operating system, and we can take the whole transmission program and copy it into this computer. And so same thing with diagnostic, fuel system, speedometer, etc. And so you click them, you hit imports, selected segments, it imports it, and then forces you to save it. So that's how we ended up with basically saved files. So I seg swapped the engine and then looked at it again, and then realized that the engine diagnostics, the codes, the check engine or diagnostic trouble codes had been modified, and I wanted to take it back to a stock ECM. So then I did the diagnostic system, or engine diagnostic, and the system file, just to make sure everything was identical. Then I looked at it to make sure that it was identical to the stock tune, and then I went in and pulled VATs and then saved it. So we can open this up, and it is no VATs. We can compare it to the original file, this one right here. You can see that VATs has changed, but the engine stuff for idle, airflow, exhaust, all the electronic throttle stuff that was different, it's all the same now. So we took it back to a stock tune and put it together that way. So basically we're starting over with a completely stock tune in this computer, and you'd say, why don't I just download a whole new tune in it? And then there's just basically licensing things. It'd make it so easy to segment swap that it's not a big deal to segment swap. It's fast, it's easy, and it doesn't cost you any more licenses, which is really, really nice. Basically, you have a license has to verify three things. The VIN number has to be verified, the operating system has to be verified, and the computer hardware or whatever number, there's 3 verifications. And so, like, say we license this computer to start with, so that's 2 credits or whatever it is. And then if we pull a tune out of the repository and we go to download that into a car, that's another 2 credits. But then since we've merged the new program with the new VIN number into a vehicle, even though we've been able to modify it and download it the first time, then it becomes a completely new entity. So then it's 2 more credits. And so basically you end up with 6 credits where you should only need to do 2 if you just do a segment swap. And I've learned that the hard way. Sometimes for me it feels like it's worth it to license it and license it and license it, but it's really unnecessary. The segment swapping is really easy. Just keep in mind the operating system differences. So as soon as we get back with the harness in there, we'll mount the computer back in there. It has VATs deleted out of it, so then we'll go in and start doing the rest of the stuff. We're probably going to do some modifications to the instrument cluster to do the check engine light like we did with Bill's truck, and make sure the charging system is working and put a charge light in like we did with Bill's truck. A few little button up stuff like that, and then we'll go into maybe some tuning or some light tuning on this. We'll see how it works, but we wanted to get it to run reliably and well, and then we can play with it from there. So as soon as we get the harness, we'll be back on that project. So that's the end of the update for this week, and we'll see you next week. But it's kind of been just a hodgepodge of stuff throughout this video, but we'll have another one out next week and we'll go from there. So until then, thanks for watching.